Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, the member of this house. It is the younger generation who will lead this country forward. If your younger generation doesn't get a good quality in education, then we will be left behind from other countries. I'm on the opposition side of the house. We oppose the motion because the problem does exist, but status quo is progressing. I have two points in my speech. Firstly, this improves the quality of the youth and youth generation so that they will not be left behind as the times progress, and then make the younger generation with good skills or educational background. Two mechanisms for today. Firstly, create an educational system that attracts the younger generation in the country, and then preparing education unit operational document, and then assembling the teach module, and then setting up a learning goal line. I have several arguments in my speech. Firstly, as government said that formal education is boring. From kindergarten to high school education is restrict and makes one's time waste. I disagree with that. Why? Like I said at the beginning that status quo is progressing. Now, our country is implementing a new learning system, which an independent curriculum where we are free to choose how to learn. We are free to explore ourselves and others. We cannot do math or science. For example, in this curriculum, teachers are not allowed to judge students who cannot do math or science. Why this curriculum exists? Because the government wants to break the stigma of society that success doesn't have to be ranked as number one or cool language. The value is just numbers. The diploma is just a piece of paper and it can manage our future. Like your middle rank and your neighbor number one. Your parents tell you he is the smartest and he definitely going to be success later. You should be able to. That the stigma that the government wants to destroy. Because in this curriculum that we are free to choose how to study, whether if you want to study by sitting on the floor or outside, or if you want to study in the park. With that solution will no longer be bored. The Merdeka curriculum focus more on essential materials and the development of participant competencies in their phases. The learning process is expected to be more profound, meaningful, unhurried, and enjoyable. For high school students, especially high school students, there is no interest program in high school. And then next to my second argument, as the government states before, that parents should not push their children to get a formal education. They should free their children to choose an informal education. I disagree at the statement because I believe that every citizen, whether having physical, emotional, mental, intellectual, or social disorders with special needs or living in remote area also has the same right to obtain a quality education. The Minister of Education, Nadiem Makarim, said that the key to education is the interaction between parents and children at home, as well as teachers and students at school. Parents or families who are included in this informal education process also have an important role in the development of children. However, it is difficult for the government to fully reach in this expectation because there are still many families who fully hand over the responsibility for their children's education to schools. This causes a lack of family role educating children. Even though education is not only the responsibility of the school, parents are expected to be friends with children in finding the truth of knowledge for their children's future. Let me give you the case. Punk children are those who do not want to be bound by family rules. They want to live freely without any rules. They grow up in one place by doing the same activities like sleeping on the streets, not bathing, dreads, tattoos, piercing here and there, creating a street matter community, men and women, regardless of age, close to glue, illegal drugs, liquor, and so on. There are so many patterns of education in the family that are wrong. If parents are not aware of the potential of their children to be wild and even out of the social environment, it is only a matter of time, like a ticking time bomb. When the family and social environment makes children feel uncomfortable, their needs are not met, they feel pressured and will go to the streets. It is considered a solution to overcoming the problem of his life, even though that was the beginning of the child entering the abyss of destruction. Can parents bring back their children who have joined the community? I think you have known the answer. Therefore, parents still have a big role in their children's education by giving them the proper reverence for formal learning. They need to communicate with school, society, environment, and to their children. They need to work together to provide the ideal formal education for the children. Next, my third argument. Firstly, being a content creator can still be done by going to formal school. Formal education does not take much time. There is still a lot of free time that can be used to create creativity according to passion. And then Lizzie Para, a woman who has formal education up to S1, become a content creator and is currently an entrepreneur going international with her huge company PT Lizzie Para Kreasi. The next example is Aukarin, a content creator that continued her study because she needed. Aukarin took fashion design degree at her 22 age. Formal education not only provides knowledge, but also relationship. We can meet new friends, new teacher and lecturer that can be out connection in social living. And then in formal education, there are several standards that must be met before reaching graduation where these standards are needed to become professional such as operating PC, having English proficiency, that's minimum score and other. And then many professions are in their need of formal education such as medicine, legal expert, accountants, that scientists whose education cannot be learned independently without companion. This profession requires exact knowledge and practice that must be supervised by people who are more qualified in their field. And then in the area of globalization, many companies require professional experts, which if they do not have specific special education, then the qualification to work in the company will be difficult. If everyone chooses to be a content creator, the company will have a hard time finding workers and will cause a company crisis. And then there are many content creators who also receive formal education, such as Dr. Richard Lee, whose content is about health, which if he does not receive formal education in medical school, he will not be able to create content about health. And then the content creator's income cannot guarantee to cover monthly needs and of course is very relative, cannot guarantee that the income of each content creator can reach the regional minimum wage. And then it takes a high commitment and some material in creating content because content that produced in an ordinary way will be difficult to steal the public's attention. So people cannot become content creator in sudden without any funding for material need. For my conclusion, I believe that the middle class parents should support their children formal education pursuing digital creative skill for three main arguments. So that's all what I can tell you. Thank you.